Hello there, aspiring Tennos and crafty exiles alike. This is probably the largest project that I have taken on since I did the ultimate guide for IF farming, which amassed almost 7,000 views. I'm under no delusion that this video will amass anything like that. I would be happy if it got 100. However, this took forever. I just want to say that, and I'm glad that it's over. I'm also very excited to talk about my findings, and I have these 4 main questions here, which is: was it profitable at all? If so, how profitable was it in terms of all 101 blueprints? How much can you expect to get per one blueprint? How much can you expect to make every hour? And how much is one wing of one blueprint worth? How much are you gonna make per wing, essentially? Then we're gonna talk about the difference between Diana and Markov reveals. And finally, we're going to talk about if it is worth fracturing your blueprints or not. Now, before we get to all of that, I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys the results of this project of mine. So I've separated the non-gem rewards and the gem rewards. And there's some general rules that I have to break down because I did not pick up everything. So there's a few things that I have to mention. But first up, this is all of the non-gem rewards. This is all from this one run of these 101 blueprints. So first up, I did not pick up divination cards. Well, I did pick them up, but I did not put them in this stash. Divination cards that was worth less than 1 chaos was not allowed to go into this stash because Excellence Next, which we use to calculate how the total value of this inventory, overestimates the value of divination cards that's cheaper than 1 chaos and just labels them all as 1 chaos. You need 8 of a card to get 1 chaos. Obviously, each of those 8 cards are not worth 1 chaos. That's the first rule. Secondly, I decided that I was not going to pick up essences, even though I probably passed up about 600 chaos by not doing so. The reason why I decided not to pick up essences is that the game thinks that shrieking and screaming essences are worth the same, even though you need to sell 3 screaming to get 1 shrieking. Obviously, they're not worth the same, but the game, or maybe not the game, but the POE Ninja cannot differentiate between them. So that's pretty much it. Those are the ones that I really didn't want to touch. I tried to not pick up some of the scarabs, which were overestimated as well. However, I can see already now that I might have picked up a few, but we're talking about a couple of chaos difference. Okay, with that, I already spoiled myself because, as you can see here at the bottom, I made 182 exalted orbs. Well, I didn't make that, but that's the total value of all of the items that we got. Then we have here invaluable gems. Obviously, we have all of these gems here, which each are worth quite a lot. And then we also have these regrading lenses here, 7 of the secondary, a full stack of the primary, and then we have as well 8 additional of the primary over here. A few more caveats before we get to the numbers. I have here these gems. These are the gems that cost less than 15. In my experience, all gems that cost less than 15 do not sell ever. Even with all of these gems here, I do not expect that I would be able to sell more than 5 to 6 of them within an hour. There simply are no buyers for them. There are no interest in them. So I consider these to be worthless. Therefore, we will not consider them towards what we've earned. Okay. Is there anything else that I have to mention? I don't think so. I think that's everything. Good. Let's go ahead and take a look at some numbers. I would like to start us off here on Excellence Next, just because, first up, I'm going to go and get myself out of the way a little bit because obviously I'm very much so in the way. No, that's not what I want to do. I'm going to put myself right here. I think I'm... Actually, you know what? There we go. Problem solved. Okay, but anyways, enough of that. So here we have Excellence Next. Hold on. We have Excellence Next here, and there's a couple of things which we need to discuss with this. First up, we have, of course, the total amount that we have earned. And then, again, just a quick reminder, we are considering these 3 stashes. Non-gem rewards, that's the secondary rewards, and then the valuable gems and valuable gems too. Alright. So that's the inventories which count towards these results. Up here we have a timeline of when I did this, and I was taking some notes between blueprints. Therefore, the time here does not represent how long it really takes to run this. There's also a lot of, first up, there's some long periods where I didn't have time to play. And then also, again, I was taking notes and doing statistics between some blueprints. So I have a separate timer, which only run when I'm either doing the blueprints or when I'm putting the rewards away, because that's the obligatory time that you at least have to spend on it. Okay, then let's go and take a look at our earnings here. And I do want to say that Excellence Next is quite good at calculating the values of the items here, but it is a little bit conservatory. For example, we have these here, which we have 28 of, which was the most amount. It comes towards the largest amount in the total of what we've earned, and it says that's worth 174. I call bullshit on this. I think it's closer to 200, just because this would be 1 exalted orbs, and every single last one of these that are for sale right now goes for 1.2. So I am usurping the program here, and I'm deciding that it's worth more than it thinks. Shockingly, anomalous summoned skeletons actually comes in at our second most valuable items. I found 5 of them, which is kind of outrageous. And that's so individually they're not the most expensive items, but cumulative they are worth quite a lot. Then we have the secondary regrading lenses, and then the big 3 is our Divergent Tempest Shield. We have our Divergent Creeping Frost, and then our Phantasmal Unearth. And I found Unearth quite early, and then for a while, like a long while, like 50 blueprints or so, I did not find any other like really valuable gems. I still had pretty normal numbers because I were lucky in other areas, but in terms of really expensive rewards, I didn't really find any. Then within, I think, 4 blueprints, I found both Divergent Tempest Shield and Divergent Creeping Frost, which obviously brings up the total by quite a lot, as you can see here. Something else worth discussing, let's just go over the rest of it quickly. We have here our Exalted Orbs. One of these dropped, and the rest of them comes from Exalted Shards from what do you call them? Currency rooms, and that's why we have 6 of them. Then also stacked decks. These only spawn in the repository. There are 2 different areas in which you can do unusual gems. One of them is tunnels, the other one is repository. I did 58 tunnels and 59 tunnels and 42 repository. And as you can see here, we got quite a large amount of these stacked decks, and they actually are one of the most valuable items that we found in general. Then Awakened Sextants. Also, I did skip quite a few rooms. The ones that I did do was Currency, it was Legion, it was Delve. Delve actually counted towards quite a large amount of what of the total as well. And Divination, Currency, Delve. Yeah, that's it. That's the only ones that I did that was actually worth something. Actually, no, that's not true. I also did the one for maps, the cartographer rooms. Those were probably actually the most valuable rooms. However, they were very rare and therefore did not count towards the total amount by that much. Now, let me just go down a little bit and see if we won't come by some fossils. Oh wait, I saw one there actually, hold on. Yeah, so you can see here, perfect fossil actually brings in a very decent amount, and there were like 5 or 6 different fossils. So this paid off like 2 blueprints almost by itself, so not too bad. Okay, enough of this. Let's actually move on to the what do you call it? The spreadsheets. And then from there, we will try and answer all of the questions that I set out to answer today. Okay, we're finally to the good stuff. Also, I think I can afford to enlarge myself a little bit again. Okay, right. Now, some of this I already talked about in my other video where I announced that I would be doing this. So I'm gonna glance over some of this, but I'm just briefly gonna talk about it. Obviously, this is buying the blueprints themselves. This is the amount I bought, this is the price of them, and this is the total amount in chaos. This is the same amount but converted to exalted orbs, and this is the conversion rate. Great. Rogue markers are used for two things. First up, they're used to reveal additional wings on the blueprints. That is very, very expensive. I ended up using 800,000 rogue markers, which is no small amount. That is outrageous. You would have to run little over, I think, 900 contracts on average if they have random value for their main targets. So yes, getting this amount, pretty crazy. I didn't run that many contracts. Obviously, I just bought these rogue markers from other players, but still. This is the starting amount. This is how many rogue markers I started out with. Also, I would like to mention that I gave an estimate for how many rogue markers we would need in order to run these. This number ended up being slightly lower simply because we got back more rogue markers from running the blueprints than I expected. But it's roughly the same, so pretty much in the same position. And what this means is that buying the blueprints themselves cost me 29 exalts, and then unveiling and running them cost me just about 22. And the total amount comes out to 8,800 chaos converted. That is 51 exalted. So you already know by now that I made back that amount by like quite a bit. And now I've separated also, I guess I'd mentioned this, the blueprints that I got didn't have an equal amount of wings. So I got one that had 2 wings, I got 56 that had 3 wings, and 44 that had 4 wings. And this down here is the total amount of, this here is a total amount of wings. So I ran 300, nearly 350 wings total. That's gonna become relevant later on when we talk about some of the stats. But for now, just remember this, just put it in the back of your mind somewhere. Okay, let's talk about the rewards separately here. So these are the secondary rewards. This means that it is not unusual gems or regrading lenses. With one exception that we'll talk about at the end. So as you can see here, this made us back about 28 exalts. And the reason why this is interesting is because we paid about 29 for all of the blueprints. And so we made back just about 29 from the secondary rewards. So it actually seems that the blueprints themselves, not the rogue markers and the reveals, but just the blueprints themselves, pretty much, you know, they make their value just from the secondary rewards. So they're pretty much free. You know, you're gonna zero out in the end if you do at least all of the extra valuable reward rooms. And I guess if you had done the what do you call them, the essence rooms, you might have made a slight profit. However, what we can also conclude from this is that you're not gonna be making the big bucks from just doing the reward rooms, the secondary reward rooms. You want the highest reward at the end. That's where the money's at. All right. So the primary reward, we walked away with 154 exalted orbs, which is an insanely large amount. Of course, have to deduct the costs from that. Now we have the total reward here again, and this is the ninja reward. Now, as you can see here, I have tweaked the numbers a little bit, and the reason why I'm doing this is because first up, I found a anomalous feeding frenzy. You will have seen that down in the corner when I was showcasing the stats tabs earlier. For some reason, Excellence Next just would not consider that. It thought that that skill gem was worth nothing when it was in fact worth 2.2 exalted orbs. I don't know why it was doing this, but oh well. So I've just decided to add that manually. So the rest of the 7.5 comes from POE Ninja simply underestimating the value of primary and secondary regrading lenses, not by a lot but slightly, and so I've just added the difference. As you can see, the two are quite similar. This is the Ninja price, and if you don't trust me, you can trust this. And if you don't trust Ninja, you can trust me, and this is pretty much it. So it came very close to actually earning back 200 exalted orbs, which is, pretty crazy. One other thing that I'd like to do while we're here, actually, let me go ahead and take this number. So these are the exalted orbs that we earned, and I'm just gonna convert them to what would be platinum, right? So throughout this whole process, I have earned myself just about 1,600 platinum. Not too bad at all, actually. Some Tetragon from the future here. Sorry to interrupt the video, but I got a little bit over eager there before. So it turns out that platinum does not go for 1 forum gold, it's more of a 0.8 ratio. Now, I'm doing this so that I can compare the two different currencies from the two different games, just to give you guys perspective. I do not recommend that you go ahead and actually trade between these two different games with forum gold, or at least if you do, do it at your own risk. I certainly wouldn't do it. So yeah, I guess that's a bad take. Sorry about that. And on with the rest of the video. All right. Now, let's get back to the questions and start answering them. Oh yeah, and also, these here are the hours that I spend on this. So I spent 3 hours running contracts. You have to do that in order to get reveals for the blueprints. And then the blueprints themselves took 17.5 hours to do. And that means you'll be earning 6.8 exalted orbs per hour, which is really good. This takes basically no setup. And I'd like to remind you that I was running this on a Summon Holy Relic build, which is not exactly known for being fast. It is quite known for the opposite. I think the only build that I've played that was slower than this was the Righteous Fire one. You just put all of your points into tankiness, and even though you're not going at blazing speeds, you can still make a profit. So if you enjoy that kind of playstyle, this is probably the stuff that you want to be doing, because it's a way to both enjoy that and do something that's meta relevant. Let's see, one more thing to discuss, or two things I guess. We used both Markov and Diana reveals. I'm gonna explain why this number is what it is, but I'm just gonna say, if you use Diana for reveals entirely instead of using both, you're gonna be saving 180,000 rogue markers, and that's the same as 4 exalted orbs. Also, it turns out that, but we already know this, the secondary reward on average per blueprint is just about 50 chaos. All right. With that in mind, we should now have all of the data that we need to start answering some of the questions. So I'll see you over there. Actually, before we do that, there is 2 things that we need to discuss, just really quick, and then we will actually go ahead and do it. We will actually answer those damn questions. This helmet here, it's obviously not a gem, and unlike the regrading lenses, it does not relate to gems at all. So it doesn't really belong in the valuable gems tab. However, this appeared in a case in the main reward room alongside with the valuable gems. So I am not entirely sure if this goes in here or if it goes in valuable gems. I eventually decided that it goes in here, but I would at least mention that I did that. And so basically, by fracturing your blueprint, all of the rewards over here, and those rewards and these rewards down here will not be available, but you could still find this one. This one's still available even if you fracture it. Okay, so I just wanted to mention that. Now, also, so we're over here on the spreadsheet again, and I just need to just quickly comment on this number right here. These 180,000 rogue markers. So I'm getting this number by taking the total cost, which was 800,000, dividing it by 2, because we already have our reveals already come from Diana, so we're already getting a discount on those, so we can't get any more. So what we're looking at is the 400,000 that we could get a discount on. Then we multiply that by discount, to see how much we would be saving. And it turns out that we would be saving those 180,000 rogue markers, which is, 45,000 is gonna cost 1 exalted orbs, so you're gonna be saving 4 exalted orbs. You will be earning some amount of rogue markers back when doing the contracts. However, you also have to buy the contract, so that kind of zeroes out. So you're basically looking at 4 exalts over 3 additional hours of grinding, which means that you're gonna be earning about 1.3 exalt per hour. So you would rather spend less time on the contracts and more time on the blueprints, and so therefore you should probably just accept the fact that it's a bit more expensive, even if it hurts your soul in the moment, knowing that from a empirical standpoint you're gonna be making more profit long term with this method. Anyways, that was everything I wanted to say about that, so on with the rest of the video. Okay, here we go. So let's just take it one by one. Number 1, was it profitable? That would be a resounding yes. It was very powerful. What? Very profitable indeed. All right, so then how profitable was it? Well, let's go ahead and just write these down one by one. Let me go ahead and bring up my spreadsheet so that I actually have the information at hand, and so I'm not just guessing, I actually have it right here. So the reward for this, and I'm just gonna extrapolate a little bit. So we say this is about 140 exalted orbs. Not too bad. So how much can you then expect to profit per blueprint? Well, if we bring out and do some very simple math here for a second. Whoa, I don't know, my mind was breaking there for a second. We have 140 exalted orbs divided by 101, because spread out over that many. So per blueprint you can expect to make about 1.3 exalted orbs. Not too bad at all, actually. That is kind of insane. You can very easily get a build up and running this just for a couple of days. You can earn enough currency to build basically whatever you want. You're not gonna get mirror tier gear from this, but let's be real, if you are seeking mirror tier gear, you're probably not watching this video. Let's just be real. Then we have the hourly rate, which was 6.8 exalted orbs. And then per wing, I also calculated this. I didn't really show you how I did this, but basically I just took the total amount earned and divided it by the amount of wings that I ran, which was 346, and that comes out to 0.4. This is mostly relevant when buying blueprints, especially if you are buying them fully revealed. If you buy a 4-wing level, I guess 83 or higher, which is fully revealed already for 1 EX, then you can expect to make about 0.8, which is good, but not as good as just revealing it yourself. But if you specifically want to buy them fully revealed, then you can compare the prices more easily. Is it worth using Markov reveals? Absolutely yes. This is one of those which I didn't actually know the answer to before I started doing this. But yeah, it turns out that it's not just worth it, but in fact very worth it. Then we have our final question here. Is it worth it to fracture them? Now, I should probably explain what fracturing means. So when you have a blueprint, you can use a fossil that costs 30 chaos to fracture an item. That means that you split it in two. Now, the thing about blueprints is that when you do so, it loses all of its innate reveals, except for the original wing, because at least one needs to be revealed in order for it to work. This means that all of the secondary rewards, all of the minor reward rooms, will not exist on the blueprint that you mirror, that you split. So the upside is that splitting is cheaper. That's 30 versus 50. The downside is that you lose all of the secondary rewards. If it was kind of close, then you could say that it's faster to run it split, because then you don't have to open the secondary reward rooms And obviously efficiency is also important. It isn't just about how much you're gonna earn per blueprint. However, it's not remotely close. As we discovered early on, the secondary rewards actually pays for the blueprint in full. So it is absolutely not worth it at all to fracture or split your blueprints. Just, buy them normally and then run them as you normally would. Buy them in bulk from the Forbidden Trove. That's a Discord associated with Path of Exile, and then just go ahead and have at it. So that's a no. That's a nay. Never do it. It's so stupid. Whatever. That is pretty much everything. You have basically all of the answers that you could possibly want in terms of wanting to run these kind of blueprints. I have run even more than this leak. Just didn't collect data for those, and I'll say that the numbers that I've gotten here pretty much falls in line with what I've seen the other times. So yeah, this is pretty much it for me this time around. Thank you guys so much for watching all the way to the end. This took so goddamn long to make, and yeah, I'm just happy that you are here along for the ride. If you're considering playing Path of Exile, then assuming that it doesn't coincide with the next update for Warframe, I will really try and stream the league start next time, so you can go ahead and play along with me, and maybe we can sort of start to slowly introduce this game to the channel just like that. Anyways, let's shoot for 2 likes. We can do it, guys. 2 likes, come on. And whatever. So stupid. Oh, someone stop me. I will see you in the next one.